Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. We are doing 31 days of Halloween and today we are going to be doing a Monarch butterfly look. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. So to start off, I'm going to do this eye, my left eye, and I'm gonna do it kind of like a normal-ish makeup look. It's still gonna be very glam, but it is gonna be kind of like the colors of like a monarch butterfly. And then the other side, we are gonna do like an actual butterfly drawing, if that makes sense. But I'm gonna start off with this side. So I've already prepped my eyes. I'm actually gonna start off with using the Spanglish palette. And I'm gonna use this shade Muy Excited. It's like a really beautiful orange. And I am taking it I'm gonna take it pretty far up and far out as well, kind of like a wing shape. Okay, now to make it a little bit more orangey, I'm going to take this orange. This is the Morphe 35M Artistry palette. And I'm not gonna go as far out with this one. I'm keeping it more closer to the lid. Okay, I wanna add some yellow, but the yellow eyeshadows that I have are just not doing it for me right now. So I'm gonna be using this Mehron Paradise Makeup 8 color palette. It's like a face makeup palette. Mine is an absolute wreck right now, but I'm going to be using that yellow, and it is a water activated palette, so I'm going to be using a damp brush. And I'm just buffing that on this inner portion. Now going back in with a little bit more of that orange from that Morphe palette. Now I'm gonna use this bright red shade from the Morphe 39L Hit the Lights palette. It's this corner shade here. And again, sorry that my palettes right now look like they went through a garbage disposal. And I'm just applying that in that inner portion and lightly buffing it into that yellow pigment. Now I'm going to take a little bit more of that yellow pigment and kind of buff it on the brow bone. I'm basically just using whatever was left on the brush. Now I'm going to take a brown shade. I'm going to apply that directly on my crease. I'm not going to really blend it out too much. I just really want that definition because I am going to cut my crease. And I'm going to be using a brown from the Hit the Lights palette from Morphe as well. And I'm going to use this one here. And because I really want it to be dark, I am going to use a damp brush for this one as well. I'm just gonna lightly go back in with that red. Now I am gonna cut my crease. Okay, and I am gonna set the crease. I'm using this Becca setting powder. Okay, and I do want to do like a gradient in that crease, so I'm going to do the yellow, orange, and then red. And for the yellow, I'm going to be using that same face makeup palette. I really do like this. I'm so happy that I found this. I got it on Amazon and I will link it below. They have like different ones that come with like different colors. I picked ones that come with like a little bit darker colors because it also has like a white, so you can mix it and create lighter colors if you want to. So I think it was a really good balance. Okay, and for the crease, I want the orange to be a little bit more orange. So I'm gonna actually use the orange that comes in the face makeup palette as well, rather than an eyeshadow. I think I'm actually also gonna go back in with that yellow. Now I'm gonna use a little bit of that orange eyeshadow now that I have like an orange base from the Morphe M35M palette. Okay, now I'm going to take that same bright red from the Morphe Hit the Lights palette and I'm gonna blend that. Now I'm going to do a winged eyeliner. Okay, now I am going to do the rest of my face, my foundation. I'm not going to touch the other eye yet because we are going to do something, but I am mostly going to be working with the face paint palette, and it does work well on top of foundation, so I figure I'll just get all of that out of the way first. Okay, the rest of my face is done. For the lower lash line, I'm just going to do that really quickly. I'm going to go in with that orange from the 35M palette. And I think I'm gonna do a little bit of that yellow paint on the inner corner of my lower lash line and then also add some of that red on the outer corner. So it's kind of like mimicking what we did on top. Okay, now I'm just gonna wait to do the lashes until the end. Now I'm gonna get started on the actual butterfly. Oh, and I do have to mention that for the blush, I know it looks really crazy right now. I actually used like an orange eyeshadow, and I used this orange from Morphe 9D Painted Desert. It's one of their 9-pan palettes. I used this orange shade here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is start with the outline of the butterfly, using just like an eyebrow pencil from NYX. And I'm literally looking at a picture of a Monarch butterfly. So we're gonna kind of outline it. I want the top of the wing to pretty much end like where my arch of my eyebrow is. So kind of go like that, and then down here, and then the bottom wing will be around my cheek, and then like the body kind of on the side of my nose. I do want it to come out a little bit more, so I'm just gonna outline the new outline. I'm gonna ignore that first one. Okay, so to start, I'm gonna just apply like an orange base pretty much over the entire outline. This orange that comes in the paint palette, I think it's a little too bright. I think it's like, I don't know. I'm gonna mix it with some of the red. And I have like just a little like empty paint palette here. And I also have like a little jar of water because it is water activated. And I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth in the palette until I get to that orangey shade that I want. I think this shade here is a pretty good shade, so I'm just gonna go for that. I'm gonna go on with some of the yellow and kind of make it a little bit brighter. I'm going in with like a wet brush. It's not like soaking. The more water you use with this palette, the more runnier the water is going to be. So you can definitely play with consistency. I don't want it to be too runny. It is pretty dry, so I'm actually going to take a brush with a little bit of water on it. And this doesn't have anything on it, and I'm just going to kind of now I'm going to go add more yellow, and I'm mostly going to focus the yellow on the lower wing. Now I'm just going back in with the orange, the main orange that's already in the palette. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna make sure that it's completely dry because we are gonna start the outlining with the black liner and we don't want any messes. So gotta make sure it's completely dry before we do anything. For the black outlining, I'm going to use a mix of this NYX Epic Ink liner and also the black that comes in the paint palette. And it's okay that it's not like a perfect outline. The wings of a butterfly are actually very jagged, I guess. Or they're not like perfectly cut, I guess. Okay, now I'm gonna start kind of outlining where it's gonna be filled in with black. And I did not plan this, but where I want to draw that outline actually works perfect to be like a winged liner, sort of. I just drew that little arch right here because this is where it's gonna start getting filled in on the outside, and we're gonna draw those little like dots, I guess, so that pattern that they have on the edge of their wings. I will lightly draw like a tiny little line. Now I'm going to use some of that black paint. I forgot to mention I am switching back and forth between like regular makeup brushes and paint brushes. These I just got like really cheap on Amazon. On the ends here, I am gonna make it a little bit more jaggedy, if that's the word. While I'm filling it in, I'm kind of dragging it out a little bit in some spots. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with this NYX white liquid liner, and I'm gonna start off with the dots on the lower wing. So I'm basically doing 2 rows. The first row I kept it pretty straight around like the edge. The second row I'm kind of going a little bit not. I'm gonna do 1 row of the white dots along the edge of the upper wing, but I am not gonna do a second one. The second one's gonna be more like yellow dots rather than white. I'm just doing some bigger white ones right here. Now I'm gonna draw some here, but they're not gonna be really like dots. They're gonna be more almost rectangular shape. Okay, now I'm gonna go into that yellow, and it does kind of have like some orange mix into it from when I was playing around with the colors, trying to make that base color. So it is a little bit like of a orangey yellow rather than like a pure yellow. Okay, now I'm gonna draw 2 more big yellow ones, and then I'm gonna do some light yellow dots. Before I do those small yellow dots, I'm gonna take that same base color that I used for the entire butterfly, and I'm just gonna use whatever was left on here. It is completely dry right now, but just gotta wet it a little bit and it'll be reactivated. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to use the white NYX liner as like a base for that orange. Now with those little yellow dots, I think I'm gonna do the white first, and then I'm gonna go on with the yellow. Now I think I'm gonna do the body. I'm just taking that same NYX black eyeliner. I'm gonna draw like little antennas. Now I'm gonna fill in the little sections of the body with that same orange. Okay, I'm pretty happy with it now, so I'm going to put on mascara and some false lashes, and then we will do the lips. Okay, now for the inner corners and my brow bones, I'm gonna highlight that empty space between my brow and the butterfly. I'm going to use one of the yellow shimmers from the Take Me Back to Brazil Rio edition by BH Cosmetics, and I'm gonna do this yellow here. I'm taking a damp brush. Now I want my nose to be very blushed, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna take like this pinky peach sort of, I don't even know how to explain that color, but it is this shade here, and this is the NYX the Ultimate Shadow Palette. Now for the lips, I'm going to use this Powder Kiss Liquid Lip Color from MAC. It's one of their newer ones, their newer formulas, and this is the shade Sorry Not Sorry. I've been loving this formula, and it feels so good on the lips. And it smells really good too. I don't know how to explain the smell, but it smells really good. And I think I'm actually gonna take a little bit of that color on my finger, kind of just like pat it into my hand and lightly go where I put that pink on my nose. Okay, and I think now I'm going to apply my wig, and that will be the end. And this is the finished look. I am pretty happy with how it turned out. Everything that you see, like the wig and the butterflies, I got off of Amazon. I will link everything in the description. This is just the first look of an entire month of looks, so definitely let me know if you have ideas. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.